Every so often you can come across a garden that truly takes your breath away. And today we're in a garden that inspires, brings positivity, promotes joy, and heals. Welcome to Horatio's Garden, Scotland. Chelsea,
welcome.
A real pleasure to be here today. I'm very excited to see Horatio's Garden, Scotland.
Well, it's a beautiful day for it, so
Good.
Shall we have a look?
Please do. First impressions is that it's beautiful.
So this is the woodland garden at Horatio's Garden, Scotland, attached to the Queen Elizabeth University Hospital, National Spinal Injuries Unit. So serving people with spinal injuries from across Scotland.
Yeah.
And so this is part of their sanctuary that we maintain.
Yeah, part of their place, part of their, I suppose, home from home as well, isn't it? Very much becomes that. James Alexander-Sinclair wanted to focus this area on bringing birds and bringing wildlife to the area. Can you talk us through what that incorporates? What's been done in the design to bring that?
So we're pinned right beside a major motorway and one of the largest acute care hospitals in Europe. So this is like a lovely little green corridor, not just for, the people in the spinal injuries unit, but for birds. We always get blackbirds nesting in this utopiary, which is fabulous. Which is why they're untrimmed at the moment, because we want to encourage that. We've got lots of nesting birds, and we've got bird feeders so that people can look out from their wardroom windows and enjoy that, even if they might not yet be able to come out and enjoy the garden. The whole garden is exquisitely designed and planted because James is, he's the master.
Yeah, it's beautiful seeing just the repetition, and it's there, it's obvious, but it's subtle at the same time. It's not like screaming out at you. So say like the Sambuca, you can see these little darker pops of color and then the shapes, which makes this walk feel structured but wild at the same time, which is a testament to James and his skill and his experience. And he has been known to say on numerous occasions that when he visits this garden that it will bring a tear to his eye.
Yeah, I've seen it.
and you can understand that just even, we're moments into this space, we've turned a corner and there's lots of different things to be looking at, all these kind of different textures, the different like foliage shapes. There's so much interest, there's so much to see. So I think for someone who's maybe been indoors for a stretch of time, having the opportunity to be able to come out, having all these different elements to observe, to appreciate and to be inspired by is just something beautiful and kind of priceless to someone's healing.
I always, when I'm in the wards, maybe chatting with someone, I always peek out through their window because we're actually gardening for people inside as well. So, just the movement of the trees or just making sure that I keep the views clear, so that, the winter flowering honeysuckle is notorious for sort of getting too big for its britches, and it needs to be sort of taken down a little bit so that we still have those beautiful views from all of the rooms that look out, so that people can be enjoying it. And also then hopefully it's inviting everybody out so that, everybody, as they're working through their rehabilitation and maybe getting a bit more independent, feeling a little bit braver, then they might be coming out and saying, oh, I really want to go and see that rhododendron that I can see flowering, or I really want to go and find out what that persicaria feels like and go and touch those fluffy heads.
That's my first impression. It is the amount of texture there and how I can imagine if I was, if this was accessible to me daily, how inspiring and how much of a relief this space could be from what could be just four walls in a room. It just brings so much.
When there's some interesting concepts when it comes to sort of the wellness benefits or the ways that gardens engage the senses to, alleviate stress, allowing that level of sort of awe and wonder that really can get people without them knowing it, without them having to do any hard work, because people are working so hard in here in other ways with their rehabilitation. But being able to provide those things and then hopefully, calm the mind, lower stress, make it so that people get a better night's rest. There's also studies now showing that potentially people need less pain medication if they have access to a green space or even the view of a green space. So it's phenomenal. I mean, I love to just be in a garden. I don't need to think too hard about it because I've always enjoyed it.
And I suppose, especially a space like this, it will provide relief for visiting families as well. So, you're visiting a person with a spinal injury, and there might be a period of time as well where you might have to leave the room, the space. And I suppose, is this one of the spaces that they can go to whilst they wait, maybe, instead of being in a waiting room, so to speak?
Yeah, so this space is for friends and family as well as staff in the NHS. So staff can come out and take a walk on their lunch break. But I think, especially families and maybe young children as well, because having a young child and then being in a very clinical space, that can be stressful. I think having a garden like this, visitors tend to stay longer, maybe visit more often, because this feels it's home, and I've seen some beautiful things in this woodland garden. I saw a young man and his daughter rode her bike for the first time, brought her bike up and was riding up. Great place to ride your bike, riding up and down the pass with her dad in his wheelchair. Just really enjoyable. And just lots of different family moments. And I think being able to have positive moments while you're in hospital and still make memories, because people that are in spinal injuries units, the the average stay is 5 months.
Okay.
It's such a long time. It can be, more than a year.
Heavy.
It's a really long time. And, there's family moments, there's birthdays, there's holidays, all that sort of stuff. And people should still be able to celebrate those and make positive memories and have joy and all of that stuff while they're doing all the hard work that they need to do to regain their independence. So the garden makes that a bit easier.
There's a reality of life goes on.
Yeah.
Life goes on at home as well, out with, and these spaces allow a coming together to create those memories, for the riding of the bike, for little ones discovering something and seeing something, but also shared experiences as well. With I know there are lots of extra curricular things per se that happen here, lots of like workshops and classes and things like that you all do, and that can involve family as well. So it's shared experiences as well, which I think is really vital. There's the opportunity is there for families to still be families and have a different space to go into.
So that's our woodland garden, but you'll see it continues on, and we have our children's play area, as well as the cut flower border, the part of the garden where we do some therapy activities, and our greenhouse as well.
It's a real contrast, isn't it? We are moving into a completely different element in terms of gardening, aren't we? We've got these raised beds and they're on wheels, so I'm assuming that has a significance.
Yes, this is more of a functional space. So where we would work with people, and so all of these mobile planters you can work at if you're in a wheelchair. So all of our users could potentially plant and grow things in these. And it's really patient-led, which is everything we do at the charity. So if somebody is keen to grow courgettes, they can set up and do that here. But mostly we do planned activities alongside some of the team at the NHS. So we did a couple things this week. So we've got this very cool edible tea garden, which I'm excited about. There's lots of different aromatic plants in here and it's all edible. So somebody could come and pick fresh herbs for tea, maybe make a cool pot of tea for friends and family that are visiting.
Yeah, so how involved are they in this process then? Is it from the beginning all the way to the end?
Yeah, so some of the things we brought in or grew from cuttings, and then some of the seeds and the edible flowers patients grew. We sowed the seeds in February, so we've got a whole year of garden-linked activities that we do.
You get that full cycle, and it moves with the gardening season as well, which is really nice.
It does, and so here there's another planter that we've done. This is our pizza planters. So tomatoes that were grown from seed, peppers, different herbs, and some chard, and then in a few months when the tomatoes are ready, we'll work with people and make our own pizzas. So fresh from the garden.
About like kitchen gardening, isn't it? It's like you get that start, sowing that seed, and then the harvesting and then the cooking. And I suppose that ties back into everything that we're discovering here is like relearning dexterity and things like that, you know, and there's, you know, like handling seeds and things like that is difficult work, you know, so there is a challenge.
A lot of fine motor.
Yeah, a lot of fine motor. So again, this puts it in a different context, doesn't it? And an enjoyable context and in a place of healing and, I suppose, place of hope.
Yeah, hope and a bit of fun, and also just hopefully linking people through to different things that they used to enjoy or might want to do in the future. Great way to pass the time, and also, you know, ticking a few boxes as well for the team that are leading the rehabilitation in the NHS. So we work alongside them to try and meet the needs of the people that are coming through here and hopefully get everybody as independent as possible so they can go off and live their best life. And so over here we have a really fun part of the garden, which is our plant theater. So this is where I get to play around a little bit more. James's design is so sumptuous and wonderful. I always think that he's the artist and I'm the brush. But here I can have a little bit of fun and try out some different plants, maybe work with people and grow different spring bulbs. Or we've got these lovely scented pelargoniums, which are wonderful. This one smells like roses.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
The rose of Attar. And so that can be really interesting for someone to explore. We've got this lovely oxalis, which I think looks great here, and auriculas. Yeah, lots of, it's just a fun
a little
space.
like play area for you, which is really nice.
For gardeners.
I suppose like I'm kind of looking around and this definitely feels more like Head Gardener's space.
Yeah.
Which I love. I think they're kind of like those working areas of gardens are really fascinating, and I think speaks a lot about what's happening in the garden, what are the kind of the plans for the garden, and also I suppose it speaks testament on what happens throughout the gardening year in order to keep it turning over properly. We've spoken about it a few times, but it's a real credit, a real testament to James and what he has provided, but equally in order to keep that testament alive, you need a head gardener. And you've got your volunteers as well. So that's important. So this is the hub, I suppose. Would I be right to call it that?
Is,
bit of a hub?
the hub. So we've got a lot going on. We've got some more veg going out. We've got cuttings of the salvias to put out in the front for that curb appeal. So when people come to the Spinal Injuries Unit, you know, they know that something exciting is going on.
I mean, this is real appeal. I love the Hacken and Clara around this. It's like, it's very picturesque.
Yeah.
Like, it's very beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's lovely grass.
And in an area that is, you know, like, quite bitty with bits and bobs, this actually provides a little bit of like foundation.
Yeah, anchors it a little bit. Mm-hmm.
And I'm spotting over here, there's a cart. It says plants to buy.
We've got our little trolley with plants to buy. So of course everybody loves to come to a garden and buy some plants, and also these might be cuttings that we've done with people in the hospital. So we're always propagating and doing different things, trying different things out.
Speaking with Chelsea, it's clear just how thoughtfully these spaces have been brought to life. Not only in their design, but in how they're cared for day to day. To understand how this connects with the work happening inside the hospital, I'm meeting with Amanda, an occupational therapist here at the National Spinal Injuries Unit. Amanda, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy day. I'm sure you've got lots of things happening. And what I'm really interested in after speaking with Chelsea is everything that you do and your team of occupational therapists do to tie all this together with people with spinal injuries.
We're in a very privileged position here at the Queen Elizabeth National Spinal Injuries Unit to work alongside Chelsea and her team at Horatio's garden. Often we have a whole year of activities planned, which we've planned together. Tasks like planting or harvesting, we will bring those activities into our occupational therapy sessions, specifically for patients who have an impairment to their upper limbs. And we'll use a selection of tasks that might work on their fine motor skills or their gross upper limb dexterity. We can look at cooking tasks, things that we've harvested from the garden. It allows patients to try something new. So in the adversity of their spinal injury, they get the opportunity to try a new activity or hobby that they've never tried before. And hopefully it might be something that when they're discharged, they might then go on to do at home. So if we can promote that to them, show them perhaps some adapted tools that they can use at home, or ways that they can have window boxes or grow some herbs at home, is a fantastic thing. So for many of our patients, just something as simple as a pinch grip, so their thumb against their finger, can be very difficult. And we do a lot of remedial activities to work on the strength and power that they might need to achieve that functional grip. And that's a grip that they can use to, say, pick up their tablets or hold a pen. So we might use horticultural activities to allow them to practice gripping something as delicate as a plant and pushing it into the soil. So the challenges with that might be is that they don't succeed at it. They find it very difficult and it can be disheartening for them. But the beauty of it is actually everybody with every type of injury can achieve something in the garden, even with a level of assistance from us. And then there's the nice cycle of it, in that when they've started off at their rehab, they might plant something, and maybe 4 or 5 months down the line, they see it bloom. And actually that cycle is quite nice and representative of their injury cycle as well. So, out of something quite negative, they've managed to achieve something quite positive and quite beautiful at the end of it. So it is really symbolic for them to be involved in that process too. Their therapy becomes their routine. It becomes their daily timetable. So consistency and routine is really important from, right from the moment when they wake up and they're managing their personal care. We need new routines in that. We have new routines that relate to their therapy sessions. So they would have weekly therapy sessions with Occupational Therapy, and Horatio's Garden, we have daily sessions that they attend. And then we have annually all of our other events that we as occupational therapists and Horatio's Garden work together to produce produce, perhaps for our Christmas fair or our Mother's Day event. We would have a project ongoing in the background where we're working on something that has a joint outcome as well. So that's constant throughout the year. And then the garden is used by us all every day. There's not a day goes by where we as staff don't use the garden as well. It provides us with a fabulous environment to come out and just escape from the hospital ward, which, it's beautiful. I mean, we're very, very spoiled to have this on our doorstep. We use our pods for things like supervision with each other. I've carried out interviews in the garden because it's a lovely, relaxed, informal environment.
So you have access to the garden.
We very much have free access to the garden too. So from a staff point of view and a staff well-being and resilience and ability to kind of switch off from the demands of the wards, the garden is the most valuable tool for that as well. And definitely provides us with a space to just decompress, take a moment and just appreciate what we have there. So so bringing in that wellness to the staff and taking care of the staff in order for them to be able to take care of those who need it as well. You have my absolute admiration. I just think it's absolutely fantastic, the work you do. Thank you so much for taking the time. Thank you for speaking to me today. Thank you.
Hi, Chelsea.
Hello.
Spot of gardening.
Little bit, always. Yeah.
And so we've got this beautiful long stretch of border here. Can you talk to us about kind of what's in there? How are you maintaining it?
Yeah.
And because it's a real eye catcher of a view there.
This part's beautiful. So this is sort of the scented garden, and it's a woodland as well. It's got these beautiful Himalayan birch, gorgeous hydrangea Annabelle, big wonderful flower heads that'll come out soon. And this Philadelphus, which is Bellatois, smells like bubble gum. And you can see we've got lots of lovely buds that are going to burst out really soon and last for a little while. And it just makes it very fragrant and really immersive.
So in terms of maintenance, how do you go about that? Are you mulching it? How's all that?
Yeah, so it's been a really dry year, and we always mulch every year quite early because we have a lot of spring bulbs that come up. Okay. So we got a really wonderful, huge lot of green goodness compost from Caledonian Horticulture, and we mulched really well this year, and I'm really thankful we did because it's been so dry, and that mulch has really saved us and probably, saved our water usage as well, helped to suppress the weeds, and minimized a lot of labor. So we use the green goodness as well as the kelpie compost, which has a bit of seaweed mixed in, and the plants seem to really love that as well.
To that growth.
Yeah, and also, taking care of your soil is a huge part of taking care of your garden, and the more that we can care for the soil, it minimizes all of the pests and diseases. It keeps the plants healthier. We're completely organic. We don't spray because we want to maintain that biodiversity
exactly.
and keep everyone healthy and create that habitat. So caring for the soil. And
okay. So I'm going to pull you away from your gardening jobs right now because it'd be really nice to kind of see what's happening down that end of the garden and to appreciate the beautiful expanse of this border. Shall we go? I really like that structure there next to the garden room, your sunroom. You kind of feel like you're enclosed. And you come back out into this open space. What part of the garden is this?
So this opens up into the physio garden. So this is just a different area, different terrain that people can come out and they can practice wheelchair skills, doing bumps and curves, a little bit of stairs. So sadly, the rest of the world isn't that accessible, and this will just give people some more skills that they can practice in a safe environment and a beautiful green environment before heading out.
What it says on the tin, really, isn't it? And you can see that you've got the stairs over there and you've kind of got the curbs and things, so they can experience this, like you said, in a safe space. They can experience it with the professional teams here, or they can experience it with their families as well. So they find that support and they experience it in a non-pressured environment, so they don't have people, maybe if they're experiencing it for the first time in an outside environment, you know, there might be a lack of patience from people. They might feel like they're being rushed into something. So here they can practice, they can take their time, and equally, like we've seen already, surrounded by all this beautiful planting.
Indeed.
So now we're in a completely different space and far more enclosed. I'm seeing different elements. Can you talk to us about where we are here?
Yeah, so now we're in the courtyard garden, which is really sort of the heart of Horatio's Garden, Scotland. It's the easiest to access, completely enclosed by the boards, and it's a little bit of a microclimate, and it also has these beautiful private pods where people can come out, get a cup of tea or coffee, visit with loved ones, and then enjoy the garden in all weathers. And central to the space is also our wonderful water feature, so you get to listen to the water, nice relaxing sound, and also it brings in the wildlife and a different energy. If I ever want to reconnect really to what we're doing and why we're doing it here at Horatio's Garden, I'll pop up to the courtyard, because the woodland garden is it's nice and calm and it's more of a tranquil solo space, but the courtyard garden is all about sort of coming together, being together. We have musicians that come in and play. People can enjoy live music. We have home baking, and we'll share a cup of tea and some homemade cake. And there's always someone up here to have a chat with and just, chat about different plants in the garden. Our beautiful alliums that are peaking right now, being a garden that can support loved ones as well, that's so important, because often the first people that come and see the garden might be a family member that's come in with someone that's injured, and they're a bit shell-shocked, and they can get brought out here, grab a cup of tea or coffee, sit and just have a moment to reflect, gather themselves, gather their energy, and then go and support the person that they care about. And it becomes so much more. And that's the thing about the garden, is it holds space at every portion of someone's journey through these halls.
And that attests to the power of a garden and gardening. I've passionately followed Horatio's Gardens for quite a few years now, and if you're interested in the work they do, I highly recommend that you go to their website to learn more. Now, James Alexander-Sinclair has created a garden here in Scotland that for me is the very definition of beautiful. And Chelsea and her team of volunteers do the most incredible job in maintaining these spaces and moving them forward. On the gardens specifically, Horatio's Gardens are very unique spaces. And as I wrap up here today, I'm left with the final thought that gardens heal.